Hello and welcome to Now You're Playing with Podcast episode 16, the Hexadecathlon 2013 Spectacular.
Woo!
After the show, we had myself and Tatton, Tori and Brad. Tori was the B Division champion, Steve, who was the overall champion, and Sam. And we all stuck around and talked games.
And Becky, my wife.
And Becky, oh yeah. Was Scott there too? I forget. Well, whichever. Hope you guys enjoy it. Glad to be back. We got more episodes coming up. Stay tuned.
Now you're playing with podcast.
First game was Burger Time for the Mattel and Television. The winner was Steve. He had 38,100, and I told him how to get a high score, so he owes me something. I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought to lure the creatures into the burger pieces. I've never actually liked that game before today, so that's another game that I've learned to love from being here. So,
well, how many burgers have you had with wieners and eggs on it?
Well, that's why they're fighting, because they're not getting ordered. Because pickles though do go on the burgers. So I don't really know the story of Burger Time.
I bet you Guy Fieri has had some.
Yeah. In his new Times Square restaurant. Yes. But yeah, I thought that was a good... who picked that game?
Me.
Okay. That was a good game.
I did like playing it with the circle pad, though.
Yeah, the circle pad definitely made it a lot easier to play.
Really?
For me, yeah.
Wow.
I used to play it on either a keyboard or a joystick, and it, for some reason, the circle pad was just a lot better, other than the fact that I had to figure out where the pepper was. That was kind of difficult to figure out at first.
That's like the biggest joke with the television is the... That's like the biggest joke with the television. Everybody hates the controller, but other than the sticky buttons on the side, I don't think I heard any complaints today. No? No.
No, once you
nod your head on a podcast. Thank you.
Yeah. No, once you swapped out to the new controller, because the other controller, like you couldn't get the pepper like at all, and once you swapped out to the new one, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Seems like one of the few games that I've played that the controller is not a hindrance. So
It's the one version of... I actually prefer this over the arcade version, believe it or not. I don't know. Everybody else has played it before. Nobody really has an opinion.
It's the best version I've played, but I don't think I've played it on every console. But of the ones I have, I like it the best.
Seth, have anything to say? You guys have anything to say?
Agreed. I like that version the best.
I've never really played Burger Time other than tonight. I did recently pick it up for the NES, so I think after tonight I am going to go pick it up and I'm going to play it a little bit. Because it was a good game. It was really challenging, getting past the first and second level. And it was a different challenge. I've never actually been, I guess, chased by eggs and, hot dogs to...
NES version is hard as balls. So I'll just warn you right now. It's fucking hard.
But, yeah, I mean, other than that, I thought it was a really good game, and I thought it was good for the Hexadecathlon.
Also, beware of the new Xbox Live version because it is a platformer.
That was awkward.
Well, don't be fooled, is all I'm saying.
All right. My stereo. Second game was picked by Brad, and he won the game. He always picks that Commodore 64 crossover. This one was Jumpman Jr. You got to level 7?
Yeah, I got to level 7.
Out of 12. I don't think anybody... Did anybody even come close?
No.
I think I gave up after the second one.
No, I gave him a run for a little bit because he had the high score, and then I got to level 7, but I didn't get as high of a score.
Because if you beat it quickly, you get some bonus points.
If you beat it quickly, you get bonus points. Plus, the number of lives you have, you get bonus points as well.
That was I think that's a good comparison piece with Minor 24/9, which you picked last time. It's a platformer with unique levels, and it's aggravating. I don't think it was as hard. Well, I don't know if it pissed off people as much as Minor 24/9, but you did hear a lot of profanity from that game.
Yeah, that was more of the game that people didn't necessarily want to play, whereas Minor 2049 was one of those games where it's fun to play, but it's frustrating.
But
Jumpman
I think it was
Jr.,
a lot of
people
fun.
gave up.
It's like one of those games that I wanted to keep playing to get farther and farther and to see if I could get farther. Like it seemed like if I learned it, it would be a lot simpler than just the few times I played it and dying horribly and bouncing around.
Yeah, the pachinko is kind of cool. That's when you die, and no time limit helped. That was probably one of the biggest things about Minor 2049er.
Well, and the one thing that Minor 2049er and Jumpman Jr. shared was the the awkward, like, not being able to tell how far you can actually drop before it considers it a death versus like a safe jump and whatnot.
I think and maybe it's the level design, but I felt I could tell a little bit better like which jumps would be safe. And yeah, it was just designed so you could tell like, yeah, this platform to this platform will work, but you know that this one won't. I can't really describe it, but
it was weird because like in level 7, and Brad can attest to this. There's like a rope right in the beginning that as soon as you jump on it, like you go down, and they have the rope set so that if you just ride the rope to the very end, when you get to the bottom of it, it's too far of a drop and you'll die. But you can actually jump like as high as that rope is. So they've really got it set so that it's like a trap. Like they don't want you to just go down to that. So it's fun. I mean, it's one of those you've got to play the board and get familiar with it and figure it out.
I don't know what year it's from, but it seems pretty progressive. It was like from 1982, 83.
I liked his motion.
Yeah.
His motion was, and then the pachinko, because I got to see him die a lot.
And the fact that they do the death merch on there when you die,
Yes.
it was the wonderful little portion of add that cherry on top to the, oh look, you just tried to make that jump yet again, and you didn't make it. By the way, you can get a couple points on the way down. However, we're going to remind you that you just died.
Is that the first game to use the Death March in it?
It's a good trivia question. I have no clue.
And actually, another interesting thing about Jumpman Jr. too is if you actually fall, but you pick up that last bomb, you win the level and you don't lose a life.
I was going to say the same thing because that happened to me on the level right before 7, the figured out or whatever level. I like right at the end, I died, something caught me, and I like picked up the last one, and it didn't take my life away. I was like, yes.
I kept thinking there was going to be a time limit. Like I played it many times today, and I still kept thinking there was a time limit. But then when I realized there wasn't, it's a little relaxing. It's like nice. You can like take your time and plan a little bit how you play it.
Of course, you lose bonus points the longer you play, but
I don't care.
Next game was chosen by Jason. Jason's strategy is to pick a game, be really good at it, and suck at everything else. This time he chose Kicks. I used the NES version, and we did a stipulation where we only played the first level instead of playing as far as you can go. And so this forces everybody to try to get like the 99% to get the bonus points. I don't think anybody got 99%. Some people got really close. Sean won this game. He got over 50,000. What was your percentage?
97.
Oh, fuck. So close.
It was such a close thing, but I had to end up finishing it out there in order to be able to just survive. Because I was on my last life after I played. I think I went back in and played that thing a million times trying to get that.
The game where you got 97, did you use all the slow lines?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was the thing, was that on portions of it I did the fast lines to get the bulk of it, and then near the end there I was using the slow lines, and that was the only way that I could possibly get that. Mm-hmm. I figured that was near the bottom of the pack. I wasn't even paying attention to what everybody else's scores were at the time.
Was the strategy of yours to get like a big chunk proportion in, or was like, kind of like build on it, like get a bunch of like little chunks in, or just like one big huge block and then sort of end it like that?
Well, the first time that I played it, I did do, try to cut off half of it and then half again and everything. And then I couldn't get past 70% doing it that way. And so I started doing smaller little chunks and trying to leave as much of it open as possible until the very end there. And just trying to get it to go sort of where I wanted to, instead of almost completely closing out an area and then it somehow found a way to go out of that little gap that I left. And then just trying to keep it in that one space is the reason why I kept having to go back to do it again and again. So I basically had to do a spiral, slowly working it in towards the center there, and maintain as little of that gap as possible, so I wouldn't completely close it out.
Plus, you're getting attacked the whole time you're doing that by little electrodes.
That's the reason why I had to do it about 1,000,000 times.
I actually felt deprived that I never played that as a kid, that game. It's so great, and it was never on my radar, and I played a lot of NES games, and just
there's
so
many
much
different
fun.
ways to play it. Like, it looks nuts, and I wouldn't even ever thought to do like the spiral with the tiny little pieces until I saw Jason doing it, actually. And it looks like nothing else.
And there's like so many other games you get and immediately regret your purchase when you were younger. And that one I feel like, I could have played this game like for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Well, there's so many different versions of that game too. I mean,
My favorite's the Game Boy version because it's a little slower, and I've got 99% on that version. The NES version's pretty brutal, and it's kind of drab looking.
I would say I got 98%, but with fast lines.
I can't remember. There's one of them. I want to say it's on like one of those like bar multi-touch.
Like porn games or use kits
a lot. It's a really weird one because it shows a picture like a silhouette, and like the silhouette looks like some girl in some position or whatever, and then like as you like start to uncover it, it'll like show you what the real picture is, but then there's
How do you know that?
I played it on one of those bar multi-touch things.
Those tabletops and bars.
But what's funny about it is
just keep digging yourself that hole.
Taking photo. We should play that for next Hexadecathlon.
Well, but what's funny about it is if you don't do it in a certain time frame, it changes the picture to like some gross like horror picture or with the same silhouette.
No, kids, you aren't allowed down here this time.
Well, it's funny because like in that one, it's you're not playing as much for points. It's just like and covering like the entire picture. I mean, it's like you don't get the percentage like finalized. You have to actually like get the 100% in order to like pass to the next level. But there's similar ones they had for the PlayStation and stuff like that.
Girls Garden.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we missed
did
one.
I skip Girls Garden?
Yeah.
Motherfuck. Game 02, Girls Garden for the SG-1000. For anybody giving a shit, we played it on the Sega Mark III, so the colors are slightly washed, but I don't think anybody cared. It's probably few people play this. It's you're a little girl. You're going around collecting bloomed flowers to attract your boyfriend, and you're a little Japanese countryside girl. And then as soon as you make the bouquet, they play wedding music, and then your boyfriend runs away again. And you have to do it all over again. And it sounds extremely sweet and girly and Japanese, and it is, but it is brutal. It is so hard. It was the first game Yuji Naka created, creator of Sonic the Hedgehog. I love this game. I'm glad everybody got to play it. I didn't hear any complaints about it, so
it's like Raggedy Ann. It's like Raggedy Ann meets Dark Souls, basically.
Man, that was a game where like I did have the high score for a minute, and then who was it that beat me? Andrew got it by 40 points.
Yeah,
but the concept was of the points was different because I found out that you didn't really have to go back to your house right away when you had all the flowers. You could still keep collecting flowers for points and still keep collecting like all the bubbles that turned into like fruits and everything. So that's kind of what got me like a higher score, and I think that's what Andrew did.
I wondered how you guys got that. I kept thinking it was the challenging stage.
Yeah, you could wait for a timer to come along, like a clock to come along.
Yeah. Like that stops or slows down.
It since we only did 2 stages plus the challenging stage, I don't know how you could really. I mean, if you were point pressing, I guess you could do that. I don't know. I figured anybody could get like really doing really well in the challenging stage would have won.
Did you explain the fact that the way that you die is getting mauled by bears?
Mauled by bears or drown.
Oh yeah, you can drown.
Very Shakespearean.
Yeah, bitch can't swim, which is ridiculous.
I feel like it was ahead of its time too. It just seems like it was pretty ambitious for its time.
Yeah,
I mean, it looked good on the system,
Yeah.
and the bears were cute, but they were mean. And then there were bees, and those were good because they would come up to the flowers. And give
the
you
level
money.
was different. Well, the location of the flowers was different every time too. It was like
I never felt so hopeless to have a flower wilt in front of me.
Oh yeah! If you collect a wilted flower, it takes down the amount of flowers you have. So I'm like running around, like, why is this happening? Or you get up to it and it's like it wilts immediately, and you're like, oh.
The thing I hated was when you would walk up to a flower that's almost flowered, and you just kind of hang out there for a little while, and they wouldn't flower.
Bad move. You got to keep moving. Those bears are motherfuckers.
You got to hover it like a toilet. Just.
Wait, you did mention the honey. It's very complicated.
Yeah. For little girls, by the way, that's what blows me away.
Girls whose boyfriends like flowers.
Yeah,
and remember, girls, collect those flowers and don't get mauled by a bear.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
like
the moral of the story.
I think the moral of the story is don't plant a garden where there's a large bear
community.
Arm yourself
safe.
with.
This one has the
honey.
most similarities to Killer Bees. The best
Yeah,
game
because
from last
bees and bees is and it's like It's like Revenge of the Bears.
time. Comb or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's Buzz Bombers next year. We got to keep the bee and bear theme going.
Is there bears and buzz bombers?
Sort of. There's like a little boat. There's like a little storyboard thing after every 5 levels where the bears are going after the honey. But you actually are spray can shooting bees out of the sky.
Banjo Kazooie has bees and bears.
I don't want to. Oh yeah. I don't want to kill bees.
Okay.
Next year we can do the Naughty Bear.
Oh.
Bust the PS3 out.
Grown.
All right. Next game. I don't think anybody liked this one. Outrun for Sega Genesis.
I liked it.
I love Outrun. It's one of my
Our
favorites of all time.
3-year-old son loved it.
Oh, good.
I don't mind being bad at it
It's
either.
that spot. It's a Genesis. Like last time, it was the same spot with Paperboy. That everybody disliked too.
I think it's just
No,
everybody
people said they
dislikes
like
the
that one.
Genesis game that's picked because it's the Genesis. I think if you would,
I think if I got 14 Super Nintendos, we could play ActRaiser on every single one of them. It'd be the best Hexadecathlon ever.
I'm pretty sure that I recommended pole position initially.
I didn't have a version of pole position that would. I was going to use my little Namco stick, but it didn't work right.
Oh. It's too bad because it would have definitely been a little more popular than that.
I was gonna say I had the 7800 and 2600 version. Oh, you have them too, don't you?
I'm behind you,
Yeah.
Chris. I liked it.
Pole position.
I don't have anything to say.
Scott won. Scott, I think, was the only person who actually beat the game, which
No.
is kind of. You beat it too?
I beat it too,
Yeah,
but
Brad
I didn't
did it
get
too.
anywhere near his score.
Interesting.
I kept crashing.
It's fairly easy to beat. I figured anybody who would beat it would do well.
Yeah, I was sitting next to Scott when he beat it, and I think he may have crashed maybe once. But he was pretty sharp on it.
That's the key. Just don't crash. Don't take your 5-hour energy.
Don't do it in life either.
I mean, I think it's a good game. I think we can all agree maybe that it's a good game, but I don't know. It just didn't.
No,
work
it's a good
as
game.
well,
I just the only reason I like to dog on it is because it's Genesis and it's
Right.
Chris.
Better than Paperboy, at least?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, very yes.
Well,
I get a point.
I imagine that awarded to you.
Yes.
I imagine that I bet I probably would have gotten into it more if I could have heard the soundtrack. Because I have to say, when it comes to driving games, if they have a sweet soundtrack, like
Yeah.
I can totally like lose myself in it.
That one probably should have turned up a bit louder.
Well, but the problem you have is that there's a bajillion people down here and a bajillion games going at the same time. So it's like if you wanted to listen to the music on anything, you really couldn't.
Next year we'll play Metallica's Fuel on loop. Just
We're going to
for
steal
you.
Metallica's Fuel and play it on loop. We're not going to buy a legit version.
Well,
They love it when you steal.
That
It
was
was
something we
all
talked
music to
about
my
earlier.
ears.
That was something we talked about earlier. So it was all quieter this time. Like we didn't have the music turned up as much.
It was kind of
Almost anything. I mean,
it was kind of subdued.
We mentioned it early, and then we just never did anything about it.
So, question: is it possible for us maybe next year to maybe do like headphones?
That's too much paperwork.
Well, I mean,
Too
could I
many
bring
wires.
my headphones and plug in? Meh.
Sure, why not? If the TV has the
Yeah,
jack
like
that you
plug
can
in
get
and
to.
be like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to my music on the, or I'll just bring my MP3 player and.
I liked all the loudness and the combination of all the noises because it was that 8-bit sound. I was like, man, that's really cool.
I feel like Curl's Garden must have been the loudest because I have that music in my head still.
Girls Garden and Jumpman Jr.'s death theme.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Jumpman Jr. dun 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 dun.
Everybody knew
heard
you died.
50,000 times because no one was any good at it.
Well, because kind of keep in the back of your mind, eventually there'll be like a greatest hits Hexadecathlon something or other. So think of your favorite game from every system.
Well, don't we have 4,000 games to pick from?
Yeah, but what?
16 times 3.
Yes, I don't know. If there's so many good ones, I want people to play the good ones again. Sure.
Yeah,
And
I mean-
it probably wouldn't be like a competition. It'd probably just be a party with good games.
Well,
Yeah,
we
I don't
have
know.
been discussing doing a crappy game version of it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hexadecathlon.
Yeah, so if we're going to do the Hexadecathlon, it only stands that we do the good games that people have liked in the past.
Hexadegoldalon.
Now, do you have to have ET at the Hexadecathlon?
Yeah, how would
course.
but how would you do it competitively?
Well, whoever throws the controller at the TV.
Oh yeah, or
first.
profanity.
Or profanity, yeah.
No, it's the prize for getting the best score at Eugene Levy's Wacky World of Miniature Golf. You get to play E.T.
How many times did you stretch your neck trying to get out of the canyon? That should be the number of times.
Oh, what is there going to be like somebody with a ticker behind it, like tick, 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 tick?
That one bug flying around in here.
Yeah, he's neat looking. He'll die. It's poor guy.
Well, I mean, there are other choices. We don't necessarily have to go with that. I just figure if we're going to do the crappiest games,
How many
that
3DO?
one tops the list.
How many 3DO games are we going to have though?
Okay.
Yeah, you got hardware limitations here. I don't know.
Well, do we hold on? Do we want to go on to the next?
Let's go to the next game. We're getting off topic a bit.
Sorry.
Donkey Kong Country Competition Cart. I like Donkey Kong Country, and this is a good way to play that game in a competitive fashion. It's kind of weird how the scoring system works, but I think everybody likes that game.
I played it early, and I know how to play it. I looked on YouTube how to play it.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah. And nobody could beat my score.
The truth comes out.
Wait, that's.
I knew there was a reason why you had the score you had because I was playing it and I was like, man, how did you get this? How did you get 4,000?
Can we take back his awards? Just out
I
of
figure anybody
curiosity.
could have done that. So yeah.
That's true. Anyone could have done that with the games up on
Public information. They was pre-announced. Everybody knew it was coming up.
for your information.
Well, and realistically, I mean, not everybody. You're probably the only one out of all of us has the competition card. So, I mean, in all fairness, that's the only way you could really.
It's a reproduction, by the way.
Oh, okay. I was going to say like, what?
Repro for the win.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good game. I didn't understand why I couldn't thump. Is that not part of it? Couldn't you thump in the thump? Yeah, he couldn't
He doesn't
thump.
have
I
that?
got it to do it once,
I
and I
couldn't
don't
figure-
Was the
exactly
Y button
know
broken?
how.
I couldn't figure because I was hitting all the buttons and he wasn't thumping.
Thought why did it?
No, you didn't thump with Y.
I didn't get to play today, so I don't know.
I
always use Diddy anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I remember my brother playing it, like he playing original one, and I enjoyed it, and so it was. It's a good platformer, like it's a very good platformer, and I suck, so it was really good to have the, a decent platformer to get in. So I felt like I did well with like my 73 points. Thanks, Steve.
I love that game. I mean, I played the crap out of it when I was younger, 15, but.
I probably could have readjusted that since you did kind of run away with it, but that's okay. It wouldn't have made a difference.
I also heard a lot of people saying, "Hey, it keeps freezing on me."
Yeah, because it gets a 0, it just freezes with your score. I get people complain this year about the instructions not being good enough. I don't know. I don't want to write like 15-page manuals because nobody will read them.
I honestly think next year we should get the games picked earlier. And I think you and I should get together and we should actually do some YouTube videos of our own with here's the strategy, here's how to play, and everything to put out. So like custom tailor it to strategy for how to play like our version with like the stages you picked and whatever. And then you could probably do like an abbreviated version sitting on here. That way, for the folks who are in the Facebook group and whatnot, they'll be able to figure it out ahead of time.
Maybe.
But
it's already a lot of work for me.
It's also a lot of fun to go in and pick up a controller for a system that you haven't really played with in a while or before, and go, okay, I hit these buttons and I do this, and you actually get to learn the game. It's one of those like opening your NES game for the first time or renting something for the weekend.
And I like how everybody helps each other out too. I mean, that's
yeah.
I wasn't out on the floor playing much, but was that happening this year?
Yeah. Tempest, that helped.
Tempest, really?
Yeah, I mean that happens every time. It's I mean that speaks a lot to the group, I think.
Well, you can definitely see that when it came to all the multiplayer ones that we were doing. You saw the teamwork. You saw people going, you need to do this before, let's do it 20 seconds startup so you can get used to the controls. And everybody's giving their advice and giving their, this is how you have to do this and watch out for this. So it was nice to see that because it really, I think, brought everybody together on those.
Well, and I don't know that anybody was like, you must lose at this. Like, everybody was like, it's open and it's fun and it's like, oh, that was a cheap shot, but you got to blah, blah.
I played this game then? Should I have? I don't know.
I think now that you finally won a Hexadecathlon, now you can be a little more. I wasn't like the same way, but I like wanted to win one just to know that I could win one, and then now I can I don't care.
I did really practice this time. Like the games that I had.
It shows.
Yeah.
Well, that it is part of the reason you have the B and the A squads.
But
right?
Yes.
I think the part of having all these people together too is they are much more apt to have you play at your best because they want to beat you at your best. Whereas I think some other places it would be like, I just want to cheat to win, and here it's like, ooh, I want you to be good because
Fuck
I
you!
want...
I don't hear that on Xbox Live.
There's no Call of Duty here, so that's my.
I can't remember who I was talking with this to, but the one cool thing that I like is, in the morning everyone's usually pretty casual, like they just play through, they just played it to fill in their scorecard or whatever, and then everybody kind of picks their handful of games they want to do, and it's neat to see like high scores that are already just really high, and then just watch everybody like really drive those scores up. Like we definitely saw.
What was the one this year that everybody was really getting into? Like, because last time was Geometry Wars, right?
Typing of the Dead.
Typing the Dead was the one going back and forth.
Yeah,
for me,
pinball a lot.
There's a lot of them. Jumpman moved up and down, or people took over. I can't talk. Sorry. People scores, and the pinball, of course. Tempest 2000. I think there was a competition.
I think we should. Yeah. Let's do Tempest 2000. First of all, I have to give a shout out to Nick Persane. Sorry, I had to look up how to pronounce your name again. He sells rotary controllers for the Jaguar on GameGavel.com, and I ordered one along with an S-Video cable for super cheap. And there's a problem with the first one I ordered, and he heard that the podcast was buying it, so he supplied us with a custom-built one with a metal style. I don't know the exact thing, but it's super nice, and we got it for free. So I sent him a T-shirt, and he's awesome. And the controllers are awesome. And if you want to play Tempest 2000, order one from him from that website. It's fantastic. I kind of played it kind of demo-y. I played it where, I don't know the name of the stage. They don't really name the stages, but it kind of looks like the Geometry Wars ship with like two triangles inverted in each other, and you get like 60,000 points. So everybody even just played and didn't do anything, got points. And then I used the Tempest Plus version with the AI droid. So everybody can just blast shit, and it wasn't super complicated, and you played 4 stages and got your points. So it was more of a experience with it more than a competitive type game.
That was a fun game. Is that the best game on Jaguar, possibly?
Probably.
Well, Steve, you said the strategy was to die so you can play the level again to get more points.
Yeah, if you die, the level just starts over. You don't, I think, you don't like...
but your points don't go anywhere.
So, yeah, the strategy, if you're only playing 4 levels, is to use every single life as long as possible. That has to be how who won it?
Oh, Andrew, 134,000 in 4 stages. Plus, you got a 60,000 point bonus for starting at the triangle stage.
Is that how you played it?
Oh no, Andrew left, I think.
Andrew, that's Sean.
Yeah, that was the way that Andrew played it. I watched him a couple times. But yeah, you get up to the 4th level. You play a lot, and then in Tempest 2000, there's the spikes at the end when you start moving. So if you just hit a spike, the level starts over.
Yeah, and actually, I did that by mistake. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's me not being able to process how Tempest plays, or if it's like my color blindness that makes a lot of the stuff like the imagery like just merge together or whatever. But there was so much going on in that last level that I just kept dying because I think I got like 124,000. Then as I was watching people like do good and getting like less scores, I was trying to figure out like what on earth was going on. It's one of those like you get rewarded for doing bad.
Yeah, that one's a really good confidence booster, especially for those of us that were in the B squad.
Yeah, B squad champ. No longer in the B squad.
Yeah, I
got a
guess
promotion.
I have to play with the big boys next
Is that
year.
going to be Tepe and I only in the B squad next year?
Everybody quit. Everybody left. Linda and...
Yeah, I don't know that
Okay.
technically. I don't know that my victory is all that great of a victory.
you
I
stuck
think I
it
won
out.
it by default.
It's
Yeah,
like,
take it
all
any
right,
way you
cool,
can.
I'm the tallest person
I
on the
don't-
short bus.
I don't know if I don't know if the B squad A squad thing was coming back because everybody that ends up quitting is I don't know.
I was in it for the long haul.
I
And
totally
since
had
everybody's
fun.
getting a prize, I don't think that it needs to. Anybody that sticks around to everybody who's here, basically, I think almost everybody got 2 prizes really.
In my wife's defense, the only reason why she quit B Squad was because of the fact that she's pregnant.
Yeah,
She
no,
just
I'm not
couldn't-
complaining. I'm just
she couldn't do it for as long as everybody
I'm not
else.
complaining
Throw
either.
down next year.
I walked away with a really cool painting. So
yeah. She get the.
Quick question: Is Tempest done by the people who did Res?
No, Jeff Minter, English guy. I also did Space Giraffe on the 360, which is like it's like reviewed as one of the worst 360 live arcade games, but it's basically just a revised Tempest. Played a demo. I didn't think it was that bad, but I guess it's the flavor of the people that don't like that type of game.
I have to say that was the first time I've played Tempest 2000. I haven't played a whole lot of the Jaguar. My idiot brother had one when I was growing up, and we didn't have the good games for the Jaguar. The 2 or 3 that were on there. So, it was the first time I did that, and I have to say, like, holding the controller and then using the knob, I like turning the knobs. It's very smooth. Like,
you don't have to. You can use just one finger too.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things like you can turn your brain off, hit the button, and just do it like.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
buy a controller from this man if you have this game.
Seriously, like I remember playing with the controller that my brother had growing up, and honestly, like I did a painting for it, and the name of the painting was Too Many Buttons because the Jaguar controller is one of the worst controllers ever.
Yeah, and I'll add to the sentiment of like buy this guy's controller because of all the controller mods that I've played with, I've never felt one that felt not only as if it were like a first party, but I think this would be better than a first party. Like, I think if there was a real one,
if that was real, that
it was
like
rare, and he was making like repros separately, it would be better than the real one. I mean, it's fantastic.
If those had sold by Atari, they'd have been $100.
Yeah, it's like if anybody knows the quality of like Hori controllers, like the companies that do a really good job, like. Damn, Skippy, he did a wonderful job with that.
Yeah, I just thought the controller was great. It was very easy moving around and shooting objects, and as opposed to the control pad or the D-pad. It was awesome.
We'll be able to go back.
No, I won't. Well, I don't have a Jaguar, or anything that would probably use that. But if I were to play, no, I have a desire to get one. If I ever pick up a Jaguar, that would be an accessory that I would get.
You now have a desire to get one. There's a reason to acquire the system.
Yes.
Well,
it was awesome.
It felt natural just working with it because it wasn't like one of those ones where you play a system that you haven't played before, play a game you haven't played before, and there's a controller that you're unfamiliar with, you're uncomfortable with, and you're trying to just muddle your way through the game. Having never played this game before, it just felt that this was right. This is the way that my hands would want to work.
There's so many ways for that controller to be too quick or too like not quick enough. Like, but that's perfect.
The other thing I had trouble was with the ABC or backwards on the controller.
Yes, the Jaguar controller really is like whoever said that. What was the worst controller in the list of controllers? That somebody like the Dreamcast controller. They didn't know what they were talking about. The Jaguar controller is a piece of crap. Wait, really?
It's not the worst because if you just ignore the thumb pad at the button, it's just a basic 3-button Genesis controller.
I knew he was going to say Genesis.
It's not horrible, is that?
We need to hold that.
The Super Nintendo had a superior controller to the Genesis.
Even I'm going to say I don't know.
We need
That's
to
a different
hold that
episode. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to hold that for another episode. That's a whole episode in itself.
Next game is the Typing of the Dead for the Sega Dreamcast.
Did not play. No.
See, now that's why
Not
you're
once.
a freak and nobody's going to agree with you for anything ever again. But
Did not play. The zombies, not for Becky's, even if it's typings.
This is what worked for me, is just knowing that my typing skill had another application. Because it's like the game's a lot of fun, and as to your zombie remark, if you pay attention to the words, you don't even have to look at the zombies. You can just look for the
dead
screen.
and they're coming at me, and if I die, then that means that the zombies get to eat me, and I don't want to.
There will never be zombies. I tell people that who say there's going to be an apocalypse with zombies. It's like, you shouldn't prepare because that will never happen.
Am I the only one with that game that felt like I was in 9th grade again, and I had to do that for a grade?
Now, this was better than the Mavis Beacon games.
Yeah.
Stupid Mavis Bacon.
This was by far the funniest game that we played because we would just yell out the phrases. Cleaning up poo, I think, was one that I got.
Scooping out poo, I think, was yours. And then I also saw battered husband, followed by no one will speak of this.
Wow.
Back to
That's
back, which I
creepy,
thought
yeah.
was that whoever put those together was just disturbed.
Multiple times I had a unisex cod piece, which I couldn't figure out for the life of me.
I swear I saw toilet emitter, or was it toilet something?
I know Linda was really pissed off because she kept getting words in French.
And Japanese.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So that's the funny thing. So I've actually played the import version of this, and it's the exact same game. So the Japanese version doesn't have hiragana or katakana words, or
Just
it's not
English.
like Romanized Japanese. It's English words. So I think that it's probably, I'm sure like the origin of it is probably English to an extent, where they just built a system where they could just group some words together and just picked ones they thought they were funny, and then that with the translation made it fantastic.
If you're playing at home, we only played stage 1 of the arcade mode, and like I guess it's best out of 5,000 points, and Steve got like 4430. So somebody's been ASDFing,
I was
JKL,
at-
semicolоning, a little extra.
3,000, so I was getting there, but I couldn't reach it.
Well, actually, I will say, too, just in case anybody's never played this before, Typing of the Dead is just House of the Dead, except every zombie that comes up has a word in front of it, and you have to type on the Dreamcast keyboard in order to kill the zombie. That's pretty much how you shoot. So,
Or characters in the game, the keyboard around your neck.
Yeah, it's a keyboard attached by 2 ropes with a giant battery and a Dreamcast on your back. And that's what they're using, because I guess they ran out of guns or something with that. But the entire concept of it was probably one of the worst ones. And we're talking about a series of games where the storyline was bad when you actually did have a gun.
Oh, it's beautiful. If I'm not a cosplayer type guy, but if I ever did, that totally would what I would do.
I was telling Corey that earlier, that I want to like make that costume and then go to like a horror con and just like run up to zombies and start typing words at them.
The YouTube
See, we would
video.
get that costume, and I've had that idea too, but I don't know how many people. I mean, I guess if you went to the horror con, maybe more people would.
Well, or if you go to like MagFest, they probably
They would
get it at
know.
MagFest,
Yeah.
The YouTube video Chris posted in the group for that.
That was
hilarious.
Steve, did you win the painting? Okay, so that's one of the few that I'm kind of proud about doing.
Proud of all of them.
All right, so I did a painting of the little tiny painting of a zombie on a penny farthing going through like an old time city, and the word is poppycock, and like he's in a top hat, and it's the one time in my life that I might paint a zombie some time later, but it was creepy, but it turned out good, so I'm glad that you won that.
If you ever cosplay this, I am going to go as one of the zombies, and I'm going to have a board with a word on it.
You
the
need
actual
a
font
series of
from
boards?
the game, not like that video that Chris posted.
And one of the phrases that's from the game, too. You have to be authentic with it.
But you need like a series of them so you can change it occasionally.
I was gonna say, please make your word unisex cod piece, just for the people who wouldn't get it.
I'm just so happy that the only other novelty game like this that I've seen that I hoped wasn't as bad as this game is there's a zombie game where you play, was it a Guitar Hero, and you play.
It's Rock of the Dead.
Rock of the Dead. It is absolutely horrible. So Hexadecathlon.
No, actually, a fun zombie game that I may have played.
And you wouldn't
once.
know because you.
Oh
okay,
no!
you played.
Pinball of the Dead on the Game Boy Advance. It's hard.
Rock of the Dead had Neil Patrick Harris in it.
Yes.
And Rob Zombie songs. That was the only highlight. I bought that thinking it would be really
But Neil
awesome. And
Patrick
then I
Harris.
played it for 5 minutes and went, nope, and returned it.
Now, if it had, what band was it again?
Rob Zombie.
So if it had Rob Zombie music, but with that little ding-dongy thing they use in Doogie Howser, I'd listen to that.
That would be awesome.
I really miss you, Wanda.
I'd actually play that one. I wouldn't have returned it if it was that game.
All right. The next game, Game 08, We Heart Katamari for the PlayStation 2. Everybody ever play this? Was this
Yes.
new experience?
I never had played it.
I feel like everyone should know
Let's hear
this
the
game.
virginal experiences first, because this game is fucking incredible.
The figuring it out was difficult. If like someone had to show me that you had to push down on the 2 joysticks in order to like turn your camera, because I would get stuck in a corner and then get really pissed off because I was stuck in a corner. And you have to realize that you have to just build up some speed in order to get points. Because if you're going, like, aiming for stuff, you're not going to get that big of a ball, and then the king yells at you at the end and you feel like crap.
Did you beat the stage?
No. The king yelled at me quite a bit.
The king will yell at you when you're like,
yeah,
two
even if you
things
do a
off.
good job, he'll be like, yeah, that's all right.
No, but if you don't make
no.
to 1.5, he like
No, I didn't get to 1.5, so he was just like, you suck. You
yeah,
really
and
suck.
then it's darkness, and he screams at you, and the controller vibrates. So some people would quit and leave the controller on the table, and then it would occasionally vibrate off, and you were like,
Do you guys have a
realize what it
PS3?
is. No.
You have a 360?
Yes.
I'll get you the 360 version. I'll let you practice.
The movement in that game
It's not
is
the
tough.
best version because the sticks aren't off, but
the sticks are catty cornered, so that meow and then meow, so it's not the same. Because if you've got them next to each other, it's a little bit easier to work with. But when you've got them meow meow,
I don't know.
it's
I might be better with catty corner personally.
So I have
don't
to
know, I'm
say
weird.
that it's wacky, zany. You roll up lots and lots of. You roll up lots and lots of things. The music is absurd.
The
and
music is
wonderful.
awesome. I think I would put that as a ringtone.
Oh my
Personally.
god. No, we do, like, we listen to it like, hey, we're gonna drive to MagFest. Let's listen to Katamari music, and I'm gonna roll you up into my life.
And a great feature is also there's like characters hidden in the levels. There are bonuses. There are hats. There are outfits. So then
There
you
are
get to
squirrels.
you get to go back
You
out
can
of the
roll
level
up the
and then use
squirrels.
those.
Roll up the
Did you see the
people.
bunny with
Yes,
the
the bunny had the
Scenario was
katana.
just like you're running around in a school and like you can pick up everything, including like the people. It was just
There-
like
Seriously,
a
where is
game
the
I've never
janitor in the
played before.
Katamari school?
I've never played it other than until tonight.
I also love that the turtle screams before
Rebecca,
you roll him
Becky
out.
picked up rabbits with like swords.
The people scream, but the turtle actually screams audibly, and it runs in fear.
There's a lot of like different like hidden people and different like hidden animals and stuff like that when you pick them up, like they'll make certain things. Like my favorite one is there's a cat you pick up that he like everything you pick him up he goes meow 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 like it sings every time. It's hilarious.
And there's nothing more satisfying than having someone in a cluster ball while they're flailing around and not able to do anything.
Once you get big enough, I mean, really, once you get big enough, you start picking up, like, I watched him play, yeah, you pick up buildings. Like, you go out, like, you get, like, cars, and then you pick up, like buildings, and then you start picking up continents, and then you go, like, out, because I watched him beat, because I suck, I watched him beat, the one on the PS3, and it was really entertaining just to, like, sit and watch, because, like, you get to the end, and you're, like, taking all the planets, and they
Yeah,
were
the thing, the
legitimately
theory is
planets,
you're
but-
supposed to end up as a planet because when the king
Yeah.
yells at you, he just says,
If you're
"Okay, you're just going to be stardust again."
He makes some stars.
Yeah.
Because something happened to there's a story.
If you're going to go so far, I will say that the last level of that game, since you're talking about it, is you're in the universe, and you're literally picking up all the universe to plug in a black hole. That's the ending of the game.
The story behind it is that the king got drunk one night and knocked all the stars out of the sky, and you have to collect stuff to create new ones. That's the storyline
So
behind
we're
it.
fixing his screw.
Yeah, we're fixing his screw up.
He's a dick.
He is a dick.
And he's got, honestly, he also is like, he's got a unisex codpiece. Seriously, when you see him like stand up, like anybody that cosplays as him always has to have the giant codpiece because it's big, like, you know.
But the thing about that
Yeah.
game is it's one of the few times where it's acceptable for a bunch of people to be giggling while they're playing a game where people are screaming their heads off.
Are dying,
Yeah.
basically.
Or getting
Yeah.
ripped off the toilet. I love that you can go into the unisex Japanese bathroom
with the Turkish toilet.
with the toilet with the guy sitting there reading the newspaper, and it's like he's sitting backwards on the toilet. I don't know if this is some. Well, but it's like a toilet, and it has like this thing that comes up in front of it instead of in the back, and he's got the newspaper like propped up on it. So I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to go to
Japan is fun.
So that was
bathroom
actually the
Japan.
neat thing is Tepe, who was on our Gaming in Japan podcast, he came out and played today, and he said that he absolutely loved the fact that they left all of the Japanese stuff like Japanese in there, so like you really got like all of the cultural stuff. They didn't like localize it or Americanize it.
Say what you will, but I would give anything to get a bidet. So if there's anything for a birthday present someday,
It made him
That's a prize
homesick.
next year at Hexadecathlon 2014.
Oh, come on. I was going to win this one. It's
I
got
did
my
have
name
one
on
issue with that. It's like there's too much talking, and the menu it's not like a jump in and play game, and that's the problem with like all the newer games is how Typing the Dead, same thing. You just have to watch load times, watch all this talking, and all the games on this table of the oldest games. You just press one button and you start playing. That's it. You're in the game. I don't know. Sorry to rain on everybody.
No, there's a level of presentation in it. I mean, once you get into the stuff, but there is the whole, like, we have to tell a story of you rolling
Feature
up
creep.
balls.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe that makes parents think that they're educating their children somehow. Look, they're reading.
Well, I think that a lot of it comes from sort of the far end of where games started at, where if you didn't have the book and you're like, what the hell is this blob over here? And what is this? The manual told you what the story was. Now that games have come to the point where they can tell the story, it's like we have to tell you so much to keep you in this, and there's so much story we have to tell, as opposed to here's a little bit of backstory. You got to go shoot this guy, go shoot the guy. You know, they have to go so far overboard because for a long time we didn't have that. You know, we had here's a little blue blob, here's a little green blob, and you're the little red blob over here, and you got to move around and get the green blob.
The death of imagination.
Exactly.
Now, I do have to say though, like playing through the full game, there's a fantastic absurdity to all of the text in Katamari, so I think it definitely like adds to the ambiance of it because everything the King said, like King of All Cosmos says, is just ridiculous.
Yeah, if you just play it like from start to finish, I guess I wish there was just like a menu where you just choose this level and it just starts it and
like you could do like a replay mode or something like that.
But when you get down to it, it's still the story of an alcoholic who's making his child go fix his problems for him.
Created by
murdering
by
a bunch
shroom
of
heads,
people.
LSD heads.
On the other version, Katamari Forever, there's a level actually where you have to only collect ice or hot things. It's like one or the other.
Yeah.
And your temperature will decrease, so you have to keep it above a certain temperature when collect all the hot things. And
yeah,
nice
that one's really
spins on
awesome.
everything.
Isn't that the one where you have to like collect the fire and you have to keep your Katamari burning and it'll go out if you don't?
And then you don't want to get near those moving snowmen.
Yes, exactly.
All right, the last single player game, which was, I think it was probably one of the more competitive ones. I think everybody in our group has been becoming pinball heads slowly and surely. We chose Firepower on the Nintendo Wii. It was a fast action 1980, I believe, table.
Which collection was it in?
Williams collection. Not a lot of targets, but it moves super fast, and the games are quick, and it's good action and quick games. If we'd chosen like Taxi or something off that collection, it would have, people like Sam here probably would have played for half an hour. So, and Sam won. He's got 1,000,006. But two other people broke 1 million. So
close second.
Yeah, there's pretty good intense pinball action. Let's talk pinball for a minute. So Sam, go first, champ.
Last year I came in, just decided to play a little and set the high score that no one could attain early on, and everyone chased me, and I was kind of like, oh, cool. And this year I come in and Stacy, is that his name? Yes.
Seth.
No, the other guy, Stacy? Yeah. Yes, he had dominated right when I came in, like, oh, and it's a little bit different on the Wii. It's a bit like Chris said, it's quicker. There are a few little nooks and crannies that are different. It plays differently, but I think that's part of the Wii's limitations, but adds to the experience that you would want to have, where it would be quicker for everyone to go in and out with it.
Ended up second place in the end, but Stacy
Yes, Seth was second place, nearly beating me by being away by how much was he away from?
It was like 1,000, or it had to have been by like 1,000.
1.4. You had 1.6.
All right,
so like by 2.
So yeah, it's just it's really tough. You gotta play defensive. You gotta hold the ball. You have to make sure your kickbacks are on, and just hold on for dear life. That's what pinball's about.
The 3-ball, like when you get the 3-ball bonus when all of them are just like coming at you, that's how I got most of my points, and I'm sure that's how you got most of yours as well.
If you can keep that going, yep,
you gotta strive to get that. Those balls.
I was excited because I got the multi-ball, and then I lost 2 of the balls, and then I lost my 3rd ball, and it was sad, but I was still excited about the fact that I got the multi-ball.
Yeah, if you get the multi-ball, it's hard to get it at first, but then with your multi-ball, you can line up your next multi-ball because you hit all the targets with all those balls.
That's really the key to that one, I think, is getting the multi-ball and doing the ball locks and things like that.
And they're so tricky too because you have to hit it at the end of the flipper just at the right time to get both of those multi-ball locks. And
Yeah, it's definitely a skill shot.
Yeah, I'd watch Sam play, and he had a few really good shots, and it was like, I remember the one shot where you were on like the left paddle, and you had it into the left pocket where you needed to get the multi-ball.
And I didn't try.
It was
and
crazy. It was a crazy
happy
shot.
accident. That's basically what happened. Was I had a few first runs. The first ball was gone in 15 seconds, and I just played it to play it. And I'm like, oh, I'll get to this, and we'll do it at some point. And I got it done without going into any catchphrases that are more monosyllabic than that.
That table is vicious.
It is.
Like, for
It's brutal.
just, I mean, I couldn't tell you,
can lose
how
your
many
ball
times I lost my ball. Like I would
And
like
not realize it. You're like, oh, there. Okay.
Well,
That's fine.
or like right out of the gate, I'd hit like a couple bumpers and it would just like shoot right down to like one of the side things. And it's like I didn't even
Like
get
it's
hit with my
destined to
paddles
pull
before.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had problems with the left side for some reason. The right never gave me too much of an issue, but straight out of the gate, coming down from the bumpers, the left side got me a couple times.
I was the opposite. Like for me, it was whatever I was doing. It was always the right side, and I never even get a chance to hit it. But it happened probably 4 or 5 of my games. Like I didn't even get to touch my first ball.
I think when I do get my pinball machine one of these years, in the distant far future, that's when I actually would consider buying. It's simple. It doesn't seem like a whole lot to maintain, and it's hard and fast. And
I'd like to actually play the physical game of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I
Because
was
going
Yes.
in,
yeah,
yeah.
all that whole collection.
I played this one out in Portland. They had it, and they also had Gorgar.
Yeah, Gorgar's my other favorite. But I played one at Papa. Not sure which year we played it, but
I'm also really glad that we always use the Williams collections or tables that do actually exist, because there is a big discrepancy between playing something that existed, even if it is virtually something that was a real machine. Like there's a balance between things, and you can get into a zone of a pocket that if you were to play some of the other pinball emulators,
right.
they just have a different feel. They have a different just everything about it. So to have like real table-based pinball makes a big difference, especially for everyone doing better.
We're crossing our fingers for real pinball one of these years.
I like the Wii as a platform too, because you can stand up with it. It's more intuitive with the tilt. You can shake it a little better, and having the buttons, you can hold your hands far apart like you would on a table for those of us that are strange and need to do things like that.
Well, touching back on the idea of these being ones that are based off of real, actual physical objects, is the fact that there's a simplicity to the game. You're not getting distracted by all the extra sounds and stuff,
Extra
all the
screens,
special effects
too.
that they're putting in and everything. You don't need that in order to be able to have a good pinball game. And it seems like so many of the emulators where they just create it off of whatever they want, you end up getting all this extra stuff that just distracts from the game itself. There's a simplicity to pinball.
All right, let's go to the multiplayer games. Our first game was Tank for the Wii U. I think everybody was pleasantly surprised with that, as it was a nice replacement for Combat this year. Take it away.
Awesome. That I had played that in the arcade before, because GameWorks had that in there, and did not have as much fun with it in the arcade as I had on the Wii U. Like I've passed that up I don't know how many times at the stores used or whatever. I really want to go get that now. Like that was really, really fun.
There's an initial challenge with it though, since you're not using an analog stick. So you're using that little D-pad on the Wii remote, and it just makes it a little bit more hectic.
Old school, son.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
The game
It's
is insane. Like all the buildings that
it
get
balances.
destroyed.
Yeah, it was like the weapons are really gratifying. That was really, really good. It was a great pick.
I was working. So, did you guys do the faces, or how did you do it? Was there monkeys in it?
We just did the 2-on-2.
In
Was
fact,
it-
I think
It was a
took
team
pictures.
competition, which I kind of wish that there was like a quick restart, because there were several ties,
Oh,
unfortunately, and we wanted to just do a sudden death to see who would win. And you had to go through the whole fucking thing again, and it's funny, but it's one of those things like, come on, we just want to play. It's another one of those complaints about modern games. There's too many fucking menus and that sort of thing.
And I do miss that sort of like
Oh, the load times are fucking terrible.
2-on-2 and or just 4-player games that just seem to be. not that they don't exist now, but they don't seem to have as much sort of like replayability of just like when you can get together with everybody on a night, maybe have a few drinks and just play like for fun for like 2 hours a game like that. And like other games where you have different power ups, you can add it all together, do what you want, and it's a lot of fun.
That's the thing where I'm just, happy that Nintendo has still been committed to like local multiplayer, because it seems like, everybody else has abandoned that for network gaming. And although it's fun to be able to play, with random people or to be able to play with people that aren't with you, there's nothing like actually playing something with someone sitting on the couch next to you. And I think this tournament like really brings that out. And I think that like games like this, like the Tank really brings that out. Like it's you can't get that online. It wouldn't be the same.
Well, one of the nice things about party games that work well is, for example, in this particular case, the weapons are completely random.
The fucking squirt gun.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to end up with. You could end up with a little sombrero squirt gun. Or you could end up with,
the Colossus
giant
missile.
bomb with a happy face on it.
Yeah, but you have no idea what you're going to get. It's not like, some other multiplayer games where it's like where the rocket launcher is and somebody's going to be sitting there waiting for it to spawn and they're going to get it and you're done because they've got the rocket launcher. This one, you could end up with the nuclear missile. They could end up with the squirt gun. And then on the next game around, it could be the opposite way with it. So there's always a sense of, hey, this, things are on the line here because you don't know what you're going to end up. You don't know what they're going to end up with.
Can you change the timer on it so it's a much longer round?
There's no options at all.
See, that's a huge failure on that.
It is. It's like the shell is there. I mean, that could have been incredible, and it is incredible to a degree. But it's a launch game, so.
Well, it's the kind of thing that as much as I hate the whole patching system, like release a patch and fix it.
DLC. We got the goddamn hard drive now. Put some DLC on it.
Exactly. Now, I will say, though, I really like the way they weighted the weapons in that game, because even the really strong weapons had...
You can only reload like once every 5 seconds.
Right, or you get like the Mega Beam and it like completely slows your tank down, or you get the rockets, which are really strong, but they attack like... They burst out and then hit something, so if someone's like right up on you, you can't hit them with a rocket.
We didn't play it, but I strongly recommend Monster Mode too. In Monster Mode, one person plays as the monster versus 3 tanks, so it's 1 on 3.
Next year.
There's just no way to like bracket that out though, because it's unbalanced.
You could be the monster.
I'll be the monster host.
Actually, we could have the the previous Hexadecathlon champions be the monster.
Yeah, there we go. Kind of off topic, but is there a desire to play a first-person shooter?
No.
For this event?
If it had,
is there a silly one? Is there something that's not going to be
there's a
as
Time Splitters. Time Splitters 2 is quite a fun game, but
what about Super Noah's Ark 3D?
It's just that GoldenEye doesn't hold up as well as we all think it does. I've played Perfect Dark and GoldenEye at some parties that some of the youngins have, I say, but they're all like 20, 22. They play these games and they consider them to be their childhoods to be the 64, which has been discussed in the podcast before.
Are we old if we call 22-year-olds young?
Excited. Regardless, no, it's just, but like Time Splitters 2 always remind me of that. It has that tank thing where it's everything is, well, you can make it randomly spawn. You can create your own levels on your memory card and actually create a level with different lighting effects and everything.
Point blank?
So,
you got a point.
So when you say first person shooter, are you thinking anything really new or older or anything really? That's
like past 15, 20 years now. I mean, we all the way back to Doom. Is there anything multiplayer that's silly and fun and quick?
We could do Zero Tolerance. You've got the link cable.
It's co-op. That's not versus.
Oh, it's okay. Never mind.
Well, the closest we've gotten thus far to a first-person shooter was Duck Hunt last year.
So yeah, Point Blank or Time Crisis or. But that's not a first-person shooter. That's just like a light gun game. That's different, I know, and that's much more arcadey.
I think if we did a first-person shooter, we would have to do something that would like make the games quick, and I think we'd have to do something that would be crazy. Like if we did GoldenEye, do like only proximity
paintball
mines.
mode or something, or
something like like a game mode that would be pretty even, because if you are good at first-person shooters, then you're fine. But for folks who don't play him, there's that whole learning curve of how to get around the camera and everything else. That having just awkward weapons would be a great equalizer for it.
So I think the general consensus is there's not a big burning desire to play one.
No.
Okay. Second multiplayer game was Buzz Quiz World for the PlayStation 3. I liked the trivia game last year, You Don't Know Jack. This one isn't nearly as fun, but you can play 8 players at once. So we got through a whole game with 20 plus people in just 4 rounds, and it was fairly quick. It could be worse. It could be a lot better.
Served a need, I think.
Yeah.
I think there were too many rounds in that one from the each single game.
It was very
rounds.
British too.
Yeah.
Cryptic crossword clues.
There were a few answers that were like strictly just British people.
Yeah,
so
like
like,
between
oh.
the Spice Girls and Nelson Mandela, there's probably when we're doing test runs, we got like 3 questions in a row about Nelson Mandela for some reason. I guess they love him in Britain.
Yeah, and it was funny because there was a question that came up. I can't remember what it was. I think it was in like biographies or something. I didn't know the answer. Nelson Mandela was in it, so I was like, Nelson Mandela. That was it.
Well, we had one during one of the rounds where nobody knew the answer to it. Everybody guessed, and they all guessed the same thing and got it right.
Nice.
Scandinavia or no?
That was the B squad. Those of us, some guy that looked like he was from Yemen. I don't know, some weird, strange Lebanon. Apparently,
Lebanon.
some guy looked Lebanese, and we all figured out that he looked Lebanese, and
He didn't
we
look
were
like
all
a lesbian. Wait, no,
Not lesbianese.
Never mind.
Well, I think for next year, maybe not necessarily, a big trivia game. I think some sort of trivia game would be beneficial. It does fill a need. I thought it was lots of fun. I think it's great being able to get together with a group of people and do some type of trivia.
Aren't there like some NES or Super Nintendo games that are kind of quiz oriented that aren't totally broken?
Jeopardy?
That's what I'm saying. Is
NES
Jeopardy or
Jeopardy?
Wheel of Fortune are
They take
broken.
really long time if we did Jeopardy,
Yeah.
because it's only 2, maybe 2 or 3 at the most, and then by 24 people, you'd have to do so many rounds, and the game of Jeopardy lasts like 25 minutes.
Between if we brought a trivia game back, I think between You Don't Know Jack and Buzz, I think I would want Buzz to come back only because of how quick we could put everybody through.
See, I have to disagree because I think You Don't Know Jack has more of an entertainment factor.
And it's only
You Don't
11
Know Jack is
questions.
more fun.
And also, I will say this
You
though.
could do like 8 people and You Don't Know Jack.
Yeah, no
Or if
shit.
we could do like the You Don't Know Jack Facebook game that's only 5 questions, those seem to go pretty quick. If there was some way of doing something like that.
I have Trivial Pursuit for the Wii, which I'll have to check out, and then I've got Seen It for Xbox 360, which is movie trivia, but it's 4 players. But it's got to be at least 4 players, and we got to find a quick mode.
I wonder if there's a way that we could, because between the 2 of us, we probably have 7 3DO controllers. I wonder if there's a quick mode for Twisted.
That would repeat after like how many players?
If there was a quick mode, it wouldn't really
We'll look
matter because it'd be
into it.
different.
Twisted was cool when we first got it. I don't know. I wonder if it's dated now.
It's not dated.
We
It's
can always do
wonderful.
that as some type of a bonus game. Anybody who's interested in doing that, we have the other multiplayers for everybody, and then you could have any folks who are interested in doing the trivia game.
Yeah, I mean, we were
might
talking about having the board
do
games
so.
go upstairs because they were like Sam's girlfriend. She was going to be here, but she got sick. But she was talking about playing like the Myst board game. We were going to have that out, but
I can bring out my triple triad cards.
yeah, I mean, it's like it's already like 9-10 hours, and most people are not getting into it, or not most people, but enough people are, checking out of it, and it's hard to add much more to this event. But maybe we should get together more often. I guess that's what we're saying. On that note, the third multiplayer game was, if I can scroll up here, Flying Power Disc, aka Windjammers, for the SNK Neo Geo CD. I'm cheap, have the CD version. But fortunately, the load times are only affected at the beginning, so we kept just continuing one round at a time, so we didn't have to watch the fucker reload every time.
This was a great pick.
This
so
is
much
pretty.
fun.
I think everybody liked it, or maybe a little convoluted, but people picked it up pretty quick, and there were some pretty good matches to watch.
The game seems very rich, and I only got to see like 90 seconds of it. So, I think it's a pretty good game, though.
It reminds me of an old volleyball game that was out around the time, just like Super Spikes and stuff. Only was it
Yep.
Super Spike V-Ball? Yes. So I didn't even know of this game. So it was like enjoying a game that I used to love that I didn't even know.
It was different. It kind of reminded me of Pong to the point where, like, you could, yeah, extreme Pong, but, like, you could hold on to it and you can, like, charge up your ball or your dot and you just, like, score on the other guy, you know?
This thing was so 1980s it wasn't even funny. But I swear, if this were a real game, I would totally watch it. If this were a real thing,
Yeah.
I would play it. I would train to play this thing. Well, that's how much fun this game was.
And I have to
Kind
admit,
of American Gladiators.
it is. Well, and like playing this tonight, and every time I play this game, it just makes me sad the fact that we don't have games like this anymore.
Yeah,
like
Sprites. We don't have sprites like this.
no, and it's clean, it's refined, it's fun, it's fast, it's
We do have sprites with on iPhone, but there's nothing like loud and obnoxious and booming about any like Angry Birds or any of those games. It's all smooth and Super Meat Boy fling, and you know, even if it's disgusting and has its charm, it just there's nothing loud and brash like Neo Geo games.
The physical representation of this game to me is when they made frisbees that you could spin on your finger. That was it was like indented for you. It's like that's kind of just the
rad.
extreme
It's
power
very rad.
radicalness of
bicycle hats and tight clothes
No,
and
no.
like the
Sunglasses.
shirts.
Every character
had
It's
sunglasses
Like
in this
this.
best
game, I think.
is in the late 80s when we all thought everything was going to be neon. So everything was
Oh,
green
God.
and hypercolored shirts. That was a big thing.
Yeah. The glow in the dark, the glowy
Sweating
ones.
is not enough. I want to know when a hand is on my
Yeah,
shirt.
what were those called?
Just hypercolor, I think.
Were they okay? Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to have them, but everybody else had them, and I wanted to hit people that
And these
had
to
them
have
just
the,
so that they could see that I hit them.
the snap bracelets that they had to ban because they would slice into your flesh.
Sure, they would, but yeah.
I was wondering if that one of those actually came with this game when you purchased it. I mean, you get that in like
Windbreaker.
Oh, there we go.
Windjammer, Windbreaker.
Yeah.
Spandex
And
pants
maybe
with the neon
some,
stripe down the
zebra
side.
stripe
Oh, nice.
gum. Yeah.
I think the cool thing about this one too is I think this is the first one where like it started getting really competitive, because Tank was pretty competitive in the beginning too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do wish we would have played more Windjammers. It was a little bit too quick, and you couldn't really pick it up that quickly.
I know.
Next time, best 2 out of 3, I think.
Yeah,
when we do the
2 out of
best
3.
of, I think that's probably in because we haven't played any other Neo Geo games.
Yeah, I think the problem was we ran out of time, so we were trying to get through that.
It was
quickly.
already 9 hours long, and people were getting antsy. So, next game, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the not very often used versus mode, which unfortunately the Genesis couldn't keep up with it. So lots of slowdown in certain places, but there is a nugget of a competitive game there. I kind of made a mistake with the first round. We used Emerald Hill Zone. The second zone, I used the Mystic Cave Zone, which was a mistake because that shit is hard. The Casino Zone would have been a better choice for round 2, and then the Mystic Cave for the finals.
Oh, you guys played a different one than we did. The B Squad had
The B Squad played the special stage, which was a nice, cool twist too.
We played the special people.
It's because
played
the B Squad is special.
I guess this is kind of a hidden gem. I used to play this a lot with Jay, my friend in high school, junior high too. But and I think it's one of the best, my favorite multiplayer games. And I still have no strategy for it. I don't know how to win this game. I can't tell you how.
Well, you and Chris both timed out, didn't you?
Timed out. Well, you always
lost all your lives.
Yeah. If someone wins, gets to the end of the level, you have 60 seconds. So then you have to time out unless you just keep dying.
I don't know what I was going to say. Go ahead.
A strategy I thought worked best was that Chris explained, basically just go and get everything. Get boxes, make sure you're not hitting the other guy's box, it gets him a 1-up, and collect all the coins, and that was a good strategy.
Yeah, it's okay to take your time a little bit on this as compared to what you would naturally think of this. This is not necessarily a race so much as you have to collect all these steps, because what you based the scoring off of was totals for
it's pretty well
boxes,
balanced.
rings, and everything like that. So it wasn't just how fast you were, but if you had all your other pieces in place, even if the other guy was faster, you still had the chance to win.
And you get a full minute. If someone gets to the end, they've won that section, that portion of the competition, but then you have a lot of time to get total rings on hand, boxes.
Points.
You can get all that stuff, and score adds up. So it's but they could also, with that minute, you could also get hit and lose all your rings too.
I also found that it was a little distracting when half the screen's gone and I can't see what I'm doing. And
Yeah, that's
I haven't played
swishling
this
is
game
weird.
in 20 years.
The one thing that I think that this game needed was being able to interact with the other player. Like it would have and maybe I'm just a little bit.
I think it was thrown together like at the last minute. It wasn't really fleshed out completely. They just kind of, we need a 2-player mode. Here you go.
I mean,
Get
it's
the game
neat,
on
it's
time.
fun. I think it's because of playing like multiplayer New Super Mario Brothers. You know,
Yeah.
it's nice being able to, to not only do your thing but also affect the other person playing.
See, I do think that's like the one reason you want to overclock your Sega Genesis, though, is because apparently the people that do that can play 2-player Sonic without slowdown.
That's what we didn't. I don't know that we had the problem in the B Squad because we played the
The
special stage.
which that's fun too.
Oh my gosh, that was a lot of fun. Except that Sonic is not running the speed that he's actually going because he's going faster.
It's
than
still
his
fucking
speed.
cool. It's a half pipe, dude.
It's a half pipe.
Chili
and I love
dogs.
the music.
With
I love
bombs.
With bombs, yeah. Well, and I didn't get any Chaos Emeralds. No, it's a lot of fun. That was always that's my best friend growing up had a Genesis, and he was like one of the very few people that I knew that had them, and I was okay watching him play like that stuff. It's when he would play the levels where you drown, and he would drown a lot, and that sound like haunted me like all the time
It is
because
kinda
it's like
frightening.
the awful
That music is
well, it's the
terrible.
boop boop and that the dun 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 boop boop and then like. Oh, and it was awful, and all I could go hitting the spikes. It's like, okay, he's a hedgehog, whatever. But oh god, then they drown. And I thought about it too much. But the half pipe was always great.
Yes.
He's got like a horrified look on his face when he dies too.
No.
But-
if he just
And he
weren't-
sprawls.
Now, okay, the whole datedness of the game in terms of yes, this is a game from the 90s and everything. Aside from that, it holds up really well, and it stands up just as good as anything that's coming out now.
Yeah, this was a really fun one.
Well-
Sonic is still a game that our 3-year-old enjoys quite a bit. He can make it to like the 3rd level on his own.
And it's hard to put into perspective the fact that and again, I'm going back to young people, but their concept of Sonic is like 3D environments and a crap ton of
Green Knight
shovelware.
Sonic.
So it's important to say, like, up until I think Sonic and Knuckles, I think they were just decent,
It's a shame
great
Corey in here
platformers.
because
Bestiality.
he'd start talking about the
2006.
his
I wasn't even going to bring in furries, but
yeah. I would just say that would have been Corey's theory about how Sega is an introduction to the world of furries to a lot of people. And I think he needs to do that rant completely on his own because it's glorious. It's podcasting gold.
Do people dress up as that cat that goes fishing? Is that
Big the cat.
Big the cat?
I hope not. Probably.
there's apparently an
Isn't there one called
MMO.
Cream the Bunny? too?
There's an
Let's make that up.
No, that's real. No, that's real. That is a real thing.
There-
It's a girl bunny named Cream.
There is an MMO that they had to cut out stuff from because their little forest characters were a little bit too schoolgirly, and then there was a really horrible forum that erupted from it, so they had to cut out those. So there's a fine line you have to walk, Sega and Sega related.
Okay, so here's the
furry
thing. If you're a
endorsers.
furry and you're listening to this, it's not that we hate you. It's okay.
No, just
No.
keep it of age.
Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that.
Go
If
after
they're-
the
if they're
older
little kids-
squirrel. They need loving too.
Slappy Squirrel. They brought back Animaniacs.
Oh, she's not old, honey. She's too old.
There's a certain point in the internet where you just have to go, okay, I'm done, and turn off your computer for the night. I mean, seriously, if you start doing searches for stuff, stop and ask yourself, is this something I would want my grandmother to find on my computer? Just consider that when you're going and doing searches for any of this Sonic related
All
stuff.
right. We're
Yes,
getting way
offhanded.
into a dark place here. Next game, Game 0E, Smithereens for the Odyssey 2. I love this game. I hope everybody liked it.
It's Angry Birds.
I think we had the castle destroying theme tonight, as long as
so
a
much
Yuji
fun.
Naka theme tonight.
Now there's a new Kinect game like that too, isn't there? Where you steer towards the castle as a cannonball. It was the awesomest, better version from long ago.
I just call it Proto Angry Birds because you just fling rocks at each other
Yes.
instead of birds at each other.
Only Angry Birds doesn't call you a turkey every
Yeah,
5
the,
seconds.
the combination of 8 words was
Yeah,
so
how
great.
far have we come?
You turkey.
And again, it kind of has that Takei feel to it. the voice sounds
Blew
like
it.
George Dickens. I know. Well, because Killer Bees.
Oh yeah, doesn't it say? Oh
yes.
my.
Oh. Yes. Yeah. Well, no. When he was talking, you turkey. Like I could totally see Takei say. I could hear it.
And this one had some loud competition, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's.
or-
Well, and
yelling
it
about
definitely gets you.
down to the wire,
Well, it gets
too.
down to the wire, and it's like you can damage yourself if you don't put, enough into it. You don't know your trajectory that you're doing, so you kind of have to get the feel for the time.
And it really comes down to, like, I worked as a bartender, and so I had to do quick counts on pouring a half ounce, pouring a full ounce, and I had to use that in this. And even then, if you're off by a 16th of a second or something, you're going to miss because it's very, very specific. There's no bubble around where you're hitting there. You have to be spot on. If you're off by a pixel, then it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, Chris, you should probably explain this game. I bet you most people don't know what it is.
It's a side view of there's a castle on the left, a castle on the right, a guy with a catapult behind each castle, and then a little weird ass U-shaped river in between the two. And you just basically hold your joystick back for several seconds and then let go of it. And it's a spring-loaded joystick, so there's a lot of throw to it. So you basically hold it back and then let it go, and it flings a rock across the other side. You have to destroy each other's castles.
You can kill the other. Well, I guess you can hit the other person and they go away. You can hit the catapult and then they can go away.
Right.
You can hit your own tower and hurt yourself.
The expert move is to hit the other player as they're holding back the catapult, and then their rock automatically goes. And if you do it just right, you can make them knock the rock into their own castle. That was the dirty play that I noticed this evening.
Because it will cause the person to have that delay where they have to either come back from the
but
dead.
But plus, as soon as they hit them, the rock that they were holding back goes into their own tower. Yeah,
Right.
So you get the delay, and you also get a hit on their tower at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing that I always found myself doing while I was playing it was I would try and count out how many seconds I had, but then I noticed myself starting to go faster because you get more intense as you're playing it.
And then you have to look to see when you get your next catapult ammunition, and then you immediately pull back. That's how I played. I looked to see and then pull back immediately, so you get as many throws as possible.
Well, you won it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great because you also got the full comedy of the entire time you're being insulted by the game. Or you're being encouraged, depending. If you're doing good, it'll say, do it again. Or it'll say, try to hit it. And
That was easy.
Call
and
you a
like
turkey,
you missed
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And I'll pose this question again: is that the first time that's ever been done where they have a voice mocking you in a game?
Well, they had the voice modulator last year for Killer Bees.
But
But it didn't
talking
really
crap.
It didn't talk back to you or talk shit to you or anything like that. But
My
this
game's
game-
talking shit to me, Ma.
Yeah, it was pretty funny hearing some of the phrases.
and that
stuff coming
was
at you.
that was the first time I've played it. So like I had to do a painting for it, and I looked at it and I was like, "This, why are we doing this?" And so I found a picture of a catapult, and I painted the catapult because I wasn't gonna paint the stupid game. And then I played the game, and I'm like, it's. It was just it didn't look like there was any really good action in it because it's like, oh, cool, it's two catapults, and then you see it, and it's like, oh, this is actually awesome. Yeah. This is a lot more fun than you would think it would be.
yeah, if you had played it first, would you have just done an 8-bit turkey?
Dude, straight up, I know exactly what I would have done. I would have had like a turkey flinging it back, like having a turkey fling back the thing, or having a turkey coming at you from the catapults. Like I would have thrown a turkey in there somewhere because
The title should have been something, You Turkey.
Yeah, exactly. No, had I known, I would have changed it around. But
Was partially why you had this because we like Killer Bees so much last time? You wanted another Odyssey game?
I think that was part of it. I was looking through my Odyssey games, and this one was highly rated. And
I gotta find out if we have it because now I'm interested in playing. It's like it's like son of a bitch.
The
What did I
Odyssey
buy
is-
last year? I bought freaking Minor 2049 already.
yeah, everybody
And-
bought Minor 2049er and Killer Bees. So
Yep.
now I think people are finding smithereens.
Oh,
and,
dude, Killer Bees! Like last year, I went home and we were
German.
we were packing up the collection because we moved into the house, and I was like, I really wish we had Killer Bees. And I looked at all our games, and we were like, we don't have killer bees, but we have this loose card. Oh my god, it's killer bees.
I was going to say that also. I think it's kind of like Frog Bog a little bit, where once you make your decision in the game, you're a slave to it, and you just have to wait for it to play out as, in lieu of anything you're being destroyed. A little similar.
Yeah, the suspense in this game is really hard, and it's also hard. Like Steven said, he had to wait for the ammunition reloading to start right away, but it's hard to not just get caught up in where is that other one going,
I think that's part of the challenge too, is that you don't have like a bar, like a strength bar or anything
No,
to gauge.
it's all in the feel.
Yeah, you kind of, and there's no way to even feel it out. It's kind of blind almost, and it's fun. That's what makes it fun.
And the thing with the tower, as it's falling down, your timing has to change. Like for me, it was initially I had to do it as a 4 count, and I'd do a quick 4, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'd release. And that would work for the top of the tower. But after about 3 or 4 hits, I suddenly had to do slightly change it. I'd have to do a slightly faster count because now I got to hit a target that's a little bit closer, more or less. And if I did a slightly faster one, I could knock the other person out. But then I'd have to pay real close attention not to get so excited over the fact that, oh, great, I've got this extra time, that I let go too early, and then I just missed a shot that I had the opportunity to take.
I love that these really simple games, as far as graphics go, are so complex as far as the actual gameplay.
Not all of them.
Maybe we should just do like all pre-1986 stuff for one of these nights. They'd go so much quicker. Because, we get caught in these games that take, 20 minutes to play each round.
Or you could do you could do a thing where you take the best from it that not everyone got to play as long as they'd like, and then elongate that a bit, like a little later.
Yeah, if we do shorter, more frequent ones, I think that'd be awesome.
So we'll maybe have because I want to do I want to do games like Freeway for Atari, but that isn't nearly as fun as Smithereens and
Bitch, Laser Blast.
I think
inside joke. Yeah,
I think the cool thing about having the Odyssey 2 games, and I like this about just all the hexacathlons, is it's nice to have games in there to play that everyone's on an even playing field, like nobody's really played before coming into it. I think that adds to some of the fun because everyone has to learn it and figure it out at the same time.
Right.
And I think for most people, Odyssey 2, it's a brand new experience. I mean, I'd never played Killer Bees before the last time. I'd never played Smithereens before today. And
I kind of reiterate the point
We
every time.
had Killer Bees, and we hadn't played it before.
Exactly. That's my way of sharing. I have all this shit in my basement. I might as well share it with people because otherwise I'm just one of those guys that collects stuff and throws it in boxes. Well, Madden 94 next year.
Great. No.
Well, the learning curve on these is also very different because you have a controller that joystick and one button, and that's it. And the button doesn't even do anything when it comes to Smithereens.
Nope.
It's all strictly a joystick. So it's not like other games where you go, okay, L1 does this and R1 does this, and I got to remember 17 buttons on this thing in order to be able to figure out how to play this one. I can only do this one round, and I have to get my score off of it, whatever.
Even like Mario Kart's too hard to describe to people anymore. It's ridiculous. All right, last game was more tower defense. Warlords for the 2600. One of my favorites. We hadn't played it yet. It's kind of a crime we hadn't played it yet. We did teams this time. And what I did is I took like the first place person and the last place person and teamed them together, and then I kind of went in and in and in and in and in.
Oh, that's how I ended up screwing over Brad.
No.
Sorry, Steve.
I really ruined Brad's day with that. Here's all these great players and
She's
and
blushing
me.
right now.
No, because it was embarrassing because I killed my own husband and he was on my team.
Can we isolate that track?
We were playing against Steve, and I were playing against you, and you took both of us out in one freaking.
I did. That was
It was
beautiful.
like bip bip, and we were out.
I wish we recorded some of those matches.
That was sick.
But after every match, everybody was like, "Oh!"
Well, that's the thing.
That's the thing. I just
simple as it is, you can really get into that.
Simple
stuff.
game, but as you play it, it gets insane. It gets crazy just because of all the variables, all the little pieces that are broken off.
That's something to think about too. Videotaping the end things, maybe putting them up. Yeah. It's a lot of work though.
I did it for the first one. It wasn't. It wasn't as exciting watching the video as it was actually being there.
I love that game though. Like we lost at it, but I wanted to play it again. It's a lot of fun.
It was a game where like the ball was so fast you couldn't keep track of it, and you couldn't even hold on to it. Like when I tried to grab it and throw it at the other guy, I ended up a lot of times just killing myself because it was just like one of those games where you know the hand-eye coordination really comes into play.
All right, so around the room, we'll do the same thing we did last year. Favorite game, least favorite game, and something you'd like to see next year. Go start with Tatton at the end.
All right. I think my favorite one this time was I'm gonna say Windjammers because like that last match that Scott and I played, that was awesome and fun. Least favorites, yeah, I was kind of gonna say Outrun, but I might say Buzz too.
You know, I don't think there was like a really horrible stinker. I don't think there was like a runaway favorite this time.
No,
Not
I
like
think
last time. This one will be difficult for people.
I like trivia games. I like the fact we got everybody through, but I think the one thing that was a bummer about Buzz was that, you know, Tank was awesome, and everyone's into it, and then it slows down for trivia, and then it comes back up again afterwards for Windjammers, and it would have been nice just to have like kept that momentum going forward.
Becky. Oh, what's next year?
Oh, next year? Oh my goodness. I would like to see
gold.
I'd like to see another Neo, like an actual like a Neo Geo game next year, maybe like League Bowling or something like that. Or like Magical Drop maybe even.
Okay. As long as you buy it.
We have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think. We mentioned
not for Neo Geo.
Oh, damn it. Okay. I like, honestly, I got into Tempest 2000 for the gyro. Yeah, seriously, I want that freaking controller now. Like, I was
buy
like,
one from Nick.
Yeah, done. Absolutely.
GameGabble.com. Everybody listening on the
amazing.
internet, all 50 of you.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to us talk. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I'm gonna say, because I didn't play it, Typing of the Dead. I don't like zombies. They freak me out. So I'm going to be biased and an asshole and be like, I hate onions and I hate zombies, so I don't touch them.
Zombie onions.
Ew. Well,
Master Chop.
They really smell.
That's
Kick, punch. It's all in the mind.
And I'm going to find, and I can't remember any of the rest of it. Oh dear. Next year, Rampart.
Another tower defense. Yeah, why not?
Well, because it's build your own, and then it's like Tetris pieces, and like you have to like get your way through, and then you blow up the other person.
I've never played it. It's one of those games I have like several versions. And I've never
it's
sat
on
down
a
with
bunch of stuff, and ready, aim, fire. Because I remember we would play it on my idiot brother's best friend had it, and we would play it, and it's like Tetris plus bomb shooty. With ships is blow up. It might be a little slow though.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll mess with it. Brad.
Yeah. Of course, my favorite game was Jumpman Jr.
Awesome.
It's a solid game in my opinion. It's really good at you got the elements of the patterns, but you also got the unpredictability of a couple levels.
How do you do that fifth? The one after the Hellstones? What's with that fifth level where you pick one up and shit appears and?
Yeah. It's basically a bunch of traps where either a piece of the level goes away or a ladder appears or a ladder disappears. And
it's sick.
It's brutal.
Yeah, you have to basically figure out the path you need.
You got
to
to
take
memorize
in order to
it,
get
basically.
Yeah.
Did anybody else think Jumpman Jr. like James Bond Jr.? Did anybody else do that? Okay.
I actually thought of Jumping Jack Flash for some reason.
Jump for my love pointer sister.
Van Halen. I've been saying about the same time.
And my least favorite game this year, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to probably say Outrun.
Yeah.
I think with the Genesis, it felt a little weird.
It's way
overall.
better I can't afford one of those cockpits that move side to side when you drive.
Yeah.
I kind of have a budget.
Or even just a pedal that you can stand up with and a wheel.
I wonder if they have one of those for Genesis. I don't know.
Maybe you could get a Super Nintendo controller modded for a Genesis, and that would
I
make
guess
it more
I suppose
fun.
we could use my Dreamcast one and get the Shenmue edition and play. I wonder if that would have worked.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and I think next year I would like to see probably a couple more of the 2600 sports games make an appearance, like real
Beach
soccer.
ice hockey.
Yeah, yeah. One of those simple type games where you're moving around three characters at the same time or something.
I guess I should explain the joke. I found 2 Atari Activision carts at a game store, and somebody had written Ice Hockey and Laser Blast. And somebody wrote "bitch" up above each copy. And when you see that gold in a bunch of stupid Atari carts, I had to buy them. They were 99 cents each. So now I proudly display "bitch Ice Hockey" and "bitch Laser Blast" next to each other. Rarity 10. Nobody else owns them.
I'm sad that we haven't used those as icons for everything at this point. Or interjections points.
Are you thinking, Brad, for multiplayer with the sports games solely?
Yeah, like basketball. Something silly and stupid like that.
Yeah.
Or like the boxing. Boxing would be pretty good.
The overhead.
Oh yeah, boxing.
Yeah.
Is it snake boxing? Homestar Runner?
All right, Tori.
I'm going to start with my least favorite game. Brad, I'm sorry, Jumpman Jr. sucked.
Yay!
As I said several times while playing that game, it made me want to slit my wrists. And those sitting next to me, I'm sorry.
So is this why you killed him in that game?
No, that was a different game.
Oh.
But no, I'm sorry. You might be sleeping on the couch tonight for that one.
That was actually really funny when when you played it the first time, because Brad, you were upstairs, and she was like, "Who on earth picked this?" And Chris, and he's like, "Your husband."
I kind of knew asking, because I think that's Brad's trademark at Hexadecathlon now, is just pick the game that everybody wants to kick his ass for.
Pick the C64 game. Yep.
My favorite, I think, actually, the one I found myself going back to other than the pinball was Kicks.
Wow.
I really got into that, and just the strategy and trying to figure out that game. I think
It's
that
so
was
abstract. You can't describe it to anybody. Stacy was here, and I tried to tell him how to do it, and I couldn't just show him.
Yeah.
I was busy, but it's that's the only real way to do it, is to show somebody.
It took me watching Dahmer figuring out how to do it.
And Dahmer picked it, and he nearly won it. He got 97% of the high score. That's his strategy. Pick one game, do really well at it, and suck at everything else.
And then leave.
And then leave at 6 o'clock. It's man, I wanted him to do one of these podcasts with us.
Well, he didn't get to use Professor Higgins this time.
As for what I want to see next year, I don't know. I think I'm with Brad on some more 2600 sports games, just because we've been playing a lot of them now that we have one at home.
Yeah.
And it's fun, easy, simple. I don't know, that or something with 8-bit alligators. I don't know why.
I wonder if we could bring back Smithereens a little bit and do Human Cannonball.
That would be fun.
That's not really... It's one player, isn't it?
Carnival. Carnival, damn it.
Do they... Is the Atari version good? We could do the Coleco version. Coleco version is wonderful.
Television version, Coleco.
Yeah, because we put it in. We were like, we need to test this new mod that we have on our oh my god, this game is awesome.
Yep.
We didn't realize we were going to have fun, and then all of a sudden we were having lots of fun, and I think everyone needs to have that fun, so...
That's the whole point of these
Simple
things.
games. They're fun.
All right, let's... Seth, next in line.
Yeah, I actually have 3 favorites that I played tonight.
Oh, sell out. That's fine.
Typing of the Dead, Tempest, and Garden Girls.
Girls Garden. Yeah.
Girls Garden, yeah. That was a good one. I enjoyed that. And I think one of the least one that I didn't really enjoy playing, sorry Brad, was Jumpman. And a game that I would like to see played next year, Dave and I were actually joking about it, but in all seriousness, Uniracers. Like a
Is it 2-player? Because I've only
you
I only
can do
messed with
2-player.
once or twice. It was never one I...
Maybe like a level, like a 2-player bonus level where you just collect points. You do the tricks and get all the points. But we were just laughing about it. But I think it'd be actually pretty cool to see that.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Everybody remember the suggestion they make for when Chris asked for
no
games
kidding.
next year.
Uniracers.
Yeah, let's listen again. It'll be online, hopefully. Steve's next.
I think, like you said, there was no. There was a lot of good games. There's no revelations though, and no stinkers for me. My favorite game, I always go with the oldest game, Burger Time.
Yay!
And least favorite game was probably Katamari, but I mean that's a good game. I'm not saying it's bad. I just didn't play it that much. And also, I got in my head that we should play Locomotion for Intellivision. I don't know if that's a good game, but
have you played Happy Trails yet?
No.
It's the same thing but smoother. I think I like that one better.
Okay.
I'll let you check it out one of these days. It's
okay. It's all Intellivision.
Yeah, both in television. It's weird. There's a big lawsuit.
We need to always have
an
Intellivision, I think, game. I don't know why.
That's a good one. It's a puzzle game, and yeah, it's good one player.
Okay.
Go on to Sam next.
Let's see, my favorite. I was gonna say Typing of the Dead, just because I finally got to play it.
Yeah.
I've only heard of it, but if I'm being serious, I would have to say Katamari, just because of people who never got to play it, got to just be like, "What the hell is this?" and really enjoy it for the first time, even if they were not so great at it. That there was an interest peaked, whatever for it. My least favorite is Burger Time, just because I've played Burger Time a bunch and it's not bad. It's just if I had to choose one. As for what next year, there's two. If I'm going to go with single player, I think it would be Pac-Man Championship DX. Would be a fun one. I did say it last time, but I think that's like the Galaxy or what is the?
We've kind of over Pac-Man. That's why I didn't have one this year.
Oh, really?
We had
It was. I forgot about that.
We had Pac-Mans twice.
Fair enough.
But that next year, I think that's open. Either that or Versus.
And then 2-player, I would pick Clay Fighter. I don't know if a lot of people have ever played Clay Fighter, and it's a really strange, weird little game that I don't think anyone would have any advantage on unless they knew in advance.
I like the idea of the shitty fighting game because I really liked WrestleMania the first year.
Yeah, I'd say WrestleMania turned out really, really
and
good.
I want to do another one of these times. It's just defining which shitty fighter.
Yeah, I would love that too.
Sean next.
Well, my favorite would probably have to be Windjammers. That was
nice.
It was great because it was easy to get into, and it got real heated once you really got used to it. My least favorite is going to have to be Typing of the Dead.
Hunt and Peck of the Dead in your case?
But yeah, it's yeah. I'm a hunt and pecker. I can't do the whole. I never really learned it in school very well. I never stuck with it. I just can't do it. You can't go down and look at the screen and then look down at the keyboard, back and forth, back and forth. It just doesn't work for me that way. Next year, I'd like to see either a Mortal Kombat game or I'd like to see one of the Twisted Metal games. I think.
Twisted Metal 2.
Twisted Metal 2, if it's going to be any of the originals. But yeah, I think either one of those would be an awesome choice. I'd have to say either Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2.
For the Game Boy.
Fuck that Gamecom.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, it is. It wasn't a joke completely. Let's see. I didn't get to really play much this year. I set everything up kind of quickly and didn't do a playthrough the night before like I used to do. I think Tank was probably my favorite just because it's new and fresh and it seemed pretty exciting, and I liked a lot of the games, but I'll just pick that as a favorite since somebody else has mentioned it. Least favorite was Buzz because it was too slow, even with 8 people at a time, and I really like having the variety of having a trivia game, but it's difficult to pull off. It takes too much time.
Can we play Seen It next time on the Xbox 360?
Only if you talk like that the whole time.
She talks like that. I will talk like this, and then we will have a duel.
Fantastic.
Sweet.
And what I want to see next year, oh geez, everybody's got. I think I was gonna say Pac-Man Versus, or Championship Edition would be a good one too. Puyo Puyo.
We haven't done a Puyo Puyo. Well, as long as Chris isn't going to be competitive in it, we might all have a chance.
Yeah.
Which one is that again? Is that?
Whichever version would fit in. It could be Dreamcast, Genesis, Super NES, whichever.
I was almost hoping you were going to say Cyborg Justice. It's a terrible, terrible game with a horrible premise.
Hexadecathlon.
Well, yeah, we'll save it for that one then.
Because seriously, we need to do that on April 1st.
I nearly put together a video last year of like shitty games, like as a joke, like to come, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the time and the
Hexadecathlon.
It can't be this April 1st because my wife is going to be giving birth.
You're going to
around
have your
the
own
14th.
might be
crap
able to
one
do
and
that.
clean it up after.
Yeah. So,
Poop jokes. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys next year, hopefully, and thanks for
one more thing I want: video pinball, the unit by itself, just video pinball.
it needs like fixed up and
We'll see if we can find another one.
We've got one. We'll have to test it, see if we can get it to work.
It's really bad.
I know. We need a representation of pinball that's not good.
Well, there's Thunderball for the Odyssey too. Have you played that one yet?
I haven't. Oh, wait, Thunderball with an exclamation point.
Yes, Thunderball.
Well, you know what? Actually, oh man, was it David Crane that did Midnight Magic?
No, but it's a 2600 pinball game. That's actually fairly good.
Yeah, no, that one's wonderful. We should
I
do
kind
that
of like
one.
the NES pinball too, black box pinball.
Yeah, as long as we could find a mode that the game didn't run too long for. So I think you could probably play on that for a while.
I'm not
There's a
related,
couple
but
boards
Marble
on-
Madness is a good one too.
Oh God, yeah, that would be awesome.
Madness.
Is there 2-player in that, or is it just It's just
I
back and
think
forth?
it's 2.
Oh,
I think it's 2.
dude.
There's 2 players.
Snakes. The snakes, snakeity.
Oh,
Snake rattle
snap
and
Snake Rattle and Roll. Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that game
Dude,
in like
Snake Rattle and Roll would be
25
awesome
years.
because that is a 2-player game, and it is
Lots
like
of suggestions that you all forget when I ask for suggestions next
And
week.
We're gonna
we have
listen
it
to
on
this.
here. I should be making notes.
Yes.
Or we can just
Who's that? Oh,
listen
that's
to our
Cat.
own
That would be your
podcast.
cat.
Okay, well, that's it for our show. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.
Now you're playing with podcast.
Hey listeners, this is Tatton. Just wanted to take a quick moment and let you know that there's lots of great places you can follow Now You're Playing With Podcast. We have a Facebook page set up, which is Now You're Playing With Fan Page. We have a Twitter account set up, which is NYPW Tweets, or Now You're Playing With Tweets. And, of course, all the episodes are available for download from NowYou'rePlayingWith.com. So we hope you enjoy the show. If you like it, please take a moment and send us a message. Let us know what you think about it. And we hope to have some more shows coming for you soon. Until then, thanks for listening.
Now you're playing with podcast.